Hey everyone, just as I promised, here is a video going through the video responses to my Seacox 97 Nerf 4 tier list. If you don't know what this video is about, basically I'm going to be going through the overall takeaways from everyone who sent me their video responses, giving their own rankings to my Seacox 97 Nerf 4 tier list. Now don't be bummed if you missed the deadline, it's alright, you can still send me your video responses because I want to know what you guys think, and I will just add you to the playlist. So email me a link and you'll be added to the video response playlist, and also be sure to check out everyone's video responses in that playlist, which will be under the Seacox 97 Nerf 4 tier list video. You can find it right there. So let's go through the overall takeaways that people had on my Nerf 4s. Starting at the top, Infiltration is pretty much agreed upon as amongst my best Nerf 4 videos. It was always in either the S or A tier. The other one that actually really ranked highly, which isn't really a surprise, is All Is Fair in Love and Nerf. That one, everyone had pretty much nothing but positive things to say about it. I think these two videos were the top ranked Nerf 4s overall. Infiltration received a lot of high ranks, mainly because it's superior in every way in terms of filmmaking than the previous ones.
Infiltration, I think it's the best video he made in terms of Nerf wars.
I consider this one to be the best Nerf video that Chris has ever made. I also like how he created a little story arc surrounding the video.
This war has all the components of a highbrow action movie, and it's the most like one too. A much more serious tone than past videos. Darker lighting, bigger weaponry, more people to kill, and hits that look way too realistic. I really hope none of these kids suffered head trauma after this.
You're honestly your best Nerf war by far. It had like a simple, fun story. All the action was pretty good. Even now, when I look back at it now, it's still really good.
Filming was very good. Editing was very good. The pacing of the storyline was very good. Acting was pretty good. Overall, everything was super solid and all fluently worked together very well.
Editing and passion, it is the perfect combination right here. Infiltration was probably the most hyped Nerf war you put out, Chris, and I think it absolutely lived up to everything.
The larger number of actors and the ending is a lot more satisfying and feels more like a modern take of warfare, using the little flash grenades, with using the big guns and a lot of costumes and stuff.
Action outside, multiple people, good story, good plot twist. Oh my god.
And then it has this really cool ending where the bad guys win. Bro, how often do you even see that in a movie? Come on, that is so cool.
To be honest, I think that's the only one I've actually seen. Like, all the good guys die and the bad guys win. It's like, all the time, you always think that the good guys are gonna win, no matter how it is. You always think, oh, the good guys are gonna come back. How cool is it gonna be? But no, this one, good guys die, the end. That's what I love about it.
Now, that doesn't mean there weren't a couple gripes.
When the guard is just not even looking, he's looking at the thing he's guarding, which I think is very funny.
In the end, whenever Natalie was the secret double agent, I don't think there was enough information from the viewer standpoint on that. I think that's the only complaint I have about this.
But overall, people really love Infiltration and kind of agree that it is like the ultimate Nerf war. All's Fair in Love and Nerf, on the other hand, people love the concept. People love the originality of this one.
All is fair in Love and Nerf. I remember as a kid, I thought this one was a cool idea, and now I really think it's a cool idea. It's the most original Nerf war idea I have ever seen anywhere on the internet.
This is literally like one of the most unique ideas for a Nerf war. Having your parents fight off for vacation.
It's a very funny concept and good premise that, you know, like, oh, Nerf is like always branded towards like kids, but then there's the adults.
It's like how they resolve their like arguments, and then like their son is doing homework upstairs. That's hilarious.
It's a cool change. It's like now the mom and dad are fighting, and Chris is doing his homework, and it's like, oh, I got questions, and then it's distracting them. Dude, it's awesome. Good thing.
Of all things, your parents did a Nerf war, and while you were taking a backseat, that's honestly very fun to me. And I wish I had parents like that were that supportive.
I think this is one of the best story and choreographs that was made. Everything was really planned out really well. Everything kind of had a purpose in each shot in the video. I think Chris did a really good job with this. I think he did all the choreographing, all the editing in very, smart, meticulous ways.
I would not have put it up here a lot like 10 years ago when it first came out, mostly just because I cared a lot more about the action sequence of the other ones. But Make Love and War just establishes so much character between Chris's mom and dad The way that they are portrayed in this war really goes to show just how much very little detail can make characters have more depth. The dad using a big gun with a lot of bullets, just spraying and praying his load all over the place and always missing the shots, with the mom using a very long-range rifle, has a very low capacity and was a lot more methodical, and she ends up winning. Those little details just kind of really make those characters have a whole lot more depth and have more interesting qualities to them. And the fact that the child, which is usually into the Nerf, is completely oblivious to what is going on.
I love how the whole fight gets completely cut off when Chris comes downstairs and tells his parents about how he reached a subscriber milestone. That's hilarious. And the line at the end where the dad says, "Why don't you go upstairs and play with your YouTube videos," or whatever it is you do up there? It was so goddamn funny. I love that so much.
And if I'm gonna be critical, I would say the only thing I would say is there was only like 2 or 3 guns used in this. I would have liked to see maybe 2 or 3 more used. I like Nerf wars that have multiple Nerf guns used in it. It just seems kind of fun. That is the only criticism I can find of this, but I mean, I can definitely give it a pass because let's be honest, it's just a personal preference of mine, so.
All is fair in love and Nerf. Yeah, I think that one's probably my favorite now. I still like the like how your dad opens like the gun cabinet.
Going through all his guns, just like 9 revolvers on the fucking door, and then like 8 fucking shotguns.
Then just like, nah, let's go for a Nerf gun. It's just the funniest bit for me.
But he still picks a Nerf gun anyway. I love that so goddamn much.
There's always an inner kid inside of us, no matter how old you are. And this video kind of just shows that.
So those were the top ones. What about the bottom ones? Well, friend versus friend pretty much was always ranked near the bottom. It's universally agreed upon that it is just kind of a worse version of Candy Bar and lacks the nostalgia of that video.
Nerf 4 friend versus friend. This is not as good as Nerf Candy Bar in my opinion. It lacks even more in plot and logic.
It's not objectively bad, it's just a little bit like no point behind it really.
I feel like there's not like a cool concept here. It's just 2 guys fighting. Like he could have easily just called this Nerf War and that would have worked fine.
It literally has no premise. I guess these are friends. They don't really even say that. It's just titled friend versus friend.
Friend versus friend, but they're shooting each other. And I know it's a Nerf war, but most of these Nerf wars are meant to like actually be killing each other.
This video, I felt like it was sort of dull a little bit, and I felt like it was a little slow.
This is my least favorite Nerf video that Chris has made. I never really found it any interesting compared to the other stuff he's made. It just seems more sloppy.
I don't remember. I actually forgot this one existed. It's alright, I guess. Funny thing, I find this one better than Candy Bar, but I put Candy Bar above this one because I give nostalgia points. This one is the first ever Nerf video I saw, so nostalgia points for Candy Bar.
It kind of starts off with both of the players already geared up before the camera is on, and the reasons for the fight isn't shared until the way end, where the ending is bitter and unsatisfying.
Another thing that I thought was funny was the part where he's like, "You took my girlfriend," but then it was ruined by the, "Well, I guess he'll kill you, so you don't have to worry about that," and then he kicks the gun out. I thought that was so stupid. I hated that.
There's also a lot of weird illogical choices that both Chris and his friend make during the fight. Like, why does Chris leave through the back door and then come back in when the other guy walks out through the front door, locks the back door, goes around and goes all the way to the back door and remembers that he locked it? This doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Editing isn't bad on it, but I mean, it just was not really that interesting at all.
The other one that actually took a fat L, Nerf 4 Procurement. That one was also ranked at the bottom pretty often.
Nerf 4 the Procurement. I think this was pretty sloppy overall. Nothing really just made sense with the video. It was really all over the place. Just nothing kind of redeeming about it in my eyes. Nothing that wants to have you coming back to view it, you know, a second or third time.
You can tell it was one they made pretty quickly. It doesn't really have much in terms of interesting angles or interesting movements or interesting fights or anything.
I felt like this video was kind of repeating the exact same concept as the Ben versus Chris Nerf videos. Like, it wasn't a bad video, I just felt like it was kind of repetitive in a way.
The production quality just feels very low, the setting is not really seen again, and the plot isn't really established at all. It's just Chris randomly gets attacked by Ben because of something that he has, and then Ben, the antagonist, actually get what he wants in the end. It feels very unsatisfying.
I'd say it's interesting, I'd say it's okay. Little bit uninteresting to me, and that's not to be like rude. I'm just saying, I don't know. It wasn't the most memorable thing to me.
Something I absolutely hate is the clear recon, which is the whole like conflict of this video. It gets used towards the ending, but it is not used to kill Chris. I think it should have been used to kill Chris. I think that was a missed opportunity, and I don't understand why they didn't use that.
Overall, it doesn't feel like a good Ben versus Chris fight, and it's kind of an unsatisfying end to Ben's leave.
I want to give a quick shout out to the music you're listening to right now. Sounds really good, right? It comes from Artlist. If you click on the links in the description to either Artlist, ArtGrid, or Motion Array, you can check out their huge library of royalty-free assets that you can use in your videos. Starting with this video, I'm going to be using their music in my videos so you can listen to all of the different stuff that they have. They are affiliated links, so if you happen to purchase a subscription, not only do you get 2 months extra off, or the $50 discount if you check out Motion Array, but you're also supporting me in my filmmaking career. And now the controversial pick. This one was all over the place. Nerf War Liberation. It ranked at the very bottom on my tier list, the only one that I would give an F because it's the only one that I regret making. Some people agreed with me and had it near the bottom, then other people actually had it sort of in the middle, and even a couple people said it was their favorite one, in the S tier.
Nerf War Liberation. I'm placing this one at rank F. Does not feel like a Nerf War at all. It feels more like an excuse to make a 4th of July video. The setting doesn't really quite fit, even though it does feel more open. It doesn't really fit the old aesthetic of Nerf Wars from the past. I feel confident placing it at rank F.
Liberation, this is ass. Fuck off, this is ass.
Yeah, for Chris's last Nerf War, this kind of sucks. Chris looks like he's 15 or older than 15. Spencer looks like he could easily be like 10 years old. And it doesn't make sense why this child is being a cop and arresting this adult. It feels stupid to me.
I didn't care for Liberation. I think you and Spencer made that specifically just for the heck of it. I don't think it was like the whole thing with energy and passion. I don't think there was a whole lot of that, and this is more of you two hanging out and all that kind of stuff, which is fine. You guys, I'm sure that was probably the first time you guys ever met in real life, and that was probably great. It was a lot different, but I don't know. I didn't care for it. I much prefer the older ones.
Honestly, I think you're a bit too harsh on Liberation. I kind of like the humor in Liberation. I don't know. I just like that one. I think Liberation's probably a B tier.
I have this in B tier. It's my understanding that Chris, he had a couple of issues with this video in terms of making it. To me, it seemed like he was trying to kind of rush this video together, and at times it kind of feels like that with this video, just kind of all over the place with the storytelling. But in the end, I kind of think it works, just in a very weird way. Better lighting this time around, better choreographed. I found it to be an underrated video that doesn't get, as much respect that I have for it.
It's not horrible. It was more so that there was not many people getting shot like much. I mean, Chris shot Spencer just in the leg a whole bunch of times until the end, but I still thought it was pretty good. I'd probably put it in a B or an A. I'll be generous and put it in an A.
I'm going to start off with the unpopular opinion here. Liberation is probably my favorite Nerf War of yours because it's just like the funniest. Just the random nonsense that happens in it, which is it's just funny to me. It's just a very entertaining one, and I think that's why I like it so much.
To me, the video quality, the visual effects, and the cinematography stands out. It obviously shows that Chris's filmmaking skills has evolved over the years.
Liberation, looking at it, it's fun. I can see how like the effects were, to me, they seemed kind of out of place when compared to everything else you made. It makes itself like pretty unique, I would say, and I liked it. So although the ending was like kind of wacky, when I look back at it, it's like, oh yeah, Chris won, but then I think, wait, a criminal won and killed a cop. Really?
And now this is another instance of Chris, I think, kind of underplaying the Nerf Wars and how good they are. The only fault I have with this one, honestly, I gotta say, is the fact that random Nerf guns are just scattered around everywhere, including a fucking long shot just being in a tree, which doesn't make too much sense to me, but honestly, I can kind of forgive it because you gotta allow them to get guns somehow. You gotta do what you gotta do. Other than that, I think it's fine. I think the fighting and action is good. However, it does have the case of shaky cam, which Chris talked about, so I think that docks it down a couple more points.
That one I think is really cool because it's nice to know that people like a video that I regret. The last thing I ever want to do is put my heart into a video and everyone hates it, including me. I think that would just be like a full-on failure, I guess, in a way. But Liberation, I'm glad that at least some people get enjoyment out of that one, because I would rather people enjoy something that I make than not, just because I personally don't like it. I want people to like the stuff that I make, so it's actually kind of a positive feeling to get from that. Moving on to quicker little bits about individual videos. Overall, Candy Bar runs on nostalgia. Everyone constantly said it's a classic, it's the first one, it's full of nostalgia.
Candy Bar is the OG.
This is the first video that blew him up for popularity on YouTube back in the day.
I think that Chris underplayed how much of a nostalgia factor this had.
The only reason why it's up higher on the list is just pure nostalgia.
This one is the first ever Nerf video I saw, so nostalgia points for Candy Bar.
You know, it's fun, it's nostalgic for me to go back to this video.
This is something I did not watch, actually, back then. I watched it a little afterwards, I think when Infiltration was out. It's weird because I have no nostalgia for this video because I didn't watch it when it blew up. I don't think I was really that much into YouTube at the time.
Next up, Nerf 4, introducing gun sounds. That was a good one. Everyone agrees that was the right move, which I'm glad it was because we never stopped doing it, so that's cool.
The introduction to the gunshot sounds was made in the second Nerf war with Ben and Chris.
This is one of the first ones you guys did it in, actually, other than maybe Zombie Attack.
I am glad that they put the gunshots in though, because instead of a moving gun, they actually put gun sounds, so it actually sounds like they're shooting the gun.
Then on the flip side, what we tried to do in Nerf 4 2 Revenge, the whole bit where we're shooting but the darts aren't coming out, universally disliked by everyone. So it's good that we never did that again.
This is when you guys focused more on using gun sound effects rather than using the actual guns themselves. So like you were using the Maverick and the Scout. I think you guys focused more on like treating those as semi-automatic pistols rather than using those as actual Nerf guns. And I know that's not the only ones you use them with. So it was definitely interesting to say the least.
Just the way that they were only moving it and there wasn't really any effects with it. They were kind of just moving it, no bullets coming out.
But then there's darts in the middle, and then at the end there's just no darts again.
It kind of feels a bit cheap when there's no projectiles coming out of the guns. It just kind of feels like they needed to just shake their guns like they're shooting a real gun with the gun sounds, and it just doesn't feel like it's a genuine Nerf war at that point.
And then the Nerf 4 that I was unjustly harsh on that people enjoy, A Very Nerf Christmas.
A very Nerf Christmas. I didn't expect to like a Nerf 4 Christmas special as much as I did.
It's a very charming and very sweet and simple and short Nerf video.
That was just enjoying for me to watch. And even now I watch it and it's like still funny to me.
I think this is an underrated video. I don't think people give it enough respect for how good this story really is. I think this works very well for what it is.
The music, I don't know what the soundtrack you used for this, but it was freaking awesome and it fit perfectly.
Chris really kind of downplayed this one. Yes, it's not very serious, but it's very funny. I'll say that. It's very funny.
I'd put A Very Nerf Christmas a lot higher than it already is, just because, to me personally, it's funny as fuck. Honestly, every single time I watch that video, without fail, I've laughed. Especially the bit where you threaten to blow Camden's brains out and he starts crying. That shit is fucking hilarious, mate.
Santa is so funny in this because he punches Chris in the face, gives Camden a gun, and then dances away. It's amazing.
Honestly, it's one of my favorite Nerf videos you've done. And honestly, I mean, I think you critique it a bit too harshly. I mean, it comes across that you had fun making it, and honestly, to me, that makes it all worth the while.
I really did not expect this when I rewatched this today, but I'm going to put this one in S. I genuinely did not expect that one to be as good as it was.
And now finally, we're just going to go through the major takeaways, the overall summaries that I was able to collect from all of these responses. Context is important, and context equals story. The setup and context of my Nerf wars really sold where they would rank. Pretty much all the ones that ranked highly had these strong story concepts, and the ones that ranked lower, everyone said it just didn't really add a whole lot, or it wasn't as interesting and not as memorable. So good action is great, but you can't actually scrape by with just good action. In fact, concept and story is really the thing that most people attach to. And sort of going along with that, comedy moments. A lot of people stated that funny moments were the things they remember the most, where Assassin 2, the thing that most people remember is apparently that phone call with Camden. That was pointed out by several people, which surprised me. And also a reason why Christmas ranked higher than some of the other Nerf wars, especially some of the ones that aren't as funny. I think Vengeance isn't as funny, so maybe that's why it sort of wasn't taken as many dubs as maybe it could have been. And going along with that, I think the timing and placement of these Nerf wars in the list definitely affected in terms of when it came out, because Vengeance came out after Infiltration, and some people pointed out that it actually was good, but just because it came after Infiltration, the hype was too high and it just didn't live up to expectations. And that's also a reason reason why something earlier on like Candy Bar does fine, because people accept that it's like the first one. Another takeaway, people were nice. They didn't put many of my Nerf wars in the F tier, which I appreciate, except for one person.
I shouldn't even bother. I already know what all of these are. I don't know what Chris was thinking when he made any of them, frankly. God awful, except for actually Liberation was really good. I'd say that's an S tier. Easy.
But it's alright, his opinion doesn't matter. And then finally, something that especially someone pointed out, passion and energy can be felt. There was a lot of talk about, like, you can tell that they had fun making this video, that you guys definitely put your all into this, and it shows, and they can feel that. And I think that is a very interesting takeaway that I can agree with whenever I watch some of these videos, especially my memory of them. If I remembered having a lot of fun making it and putting my all into it, generally it'll rank higher. I think Procurement was one that we didn't really put a whole lot into. It was just sort of let's just make a video real quick. And that maybe also showed on camera, which is why Procurement kind of was in the middle, lower end. Not many people took away a whole lot from that. I think that's also why something like Liberation or Christmas I don't remember as fondly, because I remember not being very passionate about those videos when I was making them. I remembered kind of going into them being a little tired of Nerf. I think Infiltration, I might have been a little tired of making Nerf, but I wanted to up the ante, and I wanted to make it more my own. I didn't want it to be for kids stuff anymore. So Infiltration was one that I poured my all into, and it shows, and the results are really good. But yeah, that passion and energy is definitely a big contributing factor to where people ranked the Nerf wars, and is also just the overall takeaway a lot of people had. You know, everyone who sent in a video response has seen these videos dozens of times or whatever, and they've known them for years and years and years. And so it is interesting to kind of revisit something that meant a lot to, you know, you or me years ago, and now kind of looking at it now, or even the people who still watch them nowadays. There was one viewer who had actually just binged all of them a couple months ago, which I've never done that. I only ever binged like the couple Nerf arenas, so that's really cool. But there you have it. That is the overall takeaways that people had with my Nerf 4 tier list. I think overall though, I kind of had a good opinion. I didn't have too many hot takes, but it was interesting where those controversial opinions were in. Once again, thank you to everyone who submitted your video responses. This video would not have happened without you, literally, because that's what the video is about. And I also want to give a special thanks to JACox98. Your video was so awesome. The amount of effort and editing and just work that you put into that video is the golden standard of what I've always imagined with like just people making videos about my content, or just seeing other videos where like going over an artist and what they've done and stuff. That was awesome, so thank you very much. I appreciate that. And you can check out his video and all the other video responses in the video responses playlist. And there we go. Now we're at the end screen. Thank you for watching this video. Check out the actual CCox97 Nerf 4 tier list if you haven't already, and submit your own video responses. And also comment below what you would like me to rank in future Nerf 4 tier lists. That's it for this video. See you guys later. Bye.